Today's lesson is on pineapples. As you can see, we have quite a few pineapple plants of different sizes and ages here in our greenhouse. All right, we have a pineapple that we just planted back in October of this current school year. Now, this pineapple was one that my students in my landscaping classes actually ate, and that was produced from last year's class. So what happened was I had that pineapple. It produced a small pineapple through the month of May and June. I took it home, put it on my deck at my house and grew it and brought it back to school in September, let them watch it grow a little bit more, and they cut it and enjoyed that. So this was what last year's class had done. So this is how this works in our landscaping classes. Each year we produce a plant for the following year to enjoy. Anyway, this is a 1-year-old plant. We have 3 of those. Again, these have not produced any pineapples yet. This is a 2-year-old plant, so you can see the difference in the stages and sizes.
Why is the one yellow?
It actually needs the element nitrogen, which is a fertilizer. It helps make plants' leaves green, all different types, but it's one of the essential elements. So we'll work on that. This is a 5-year-old pineapple plant. Now, this did produce a pineapple a couple years ago. What it has now is it has these little plants on the sides called pups, and we can use those for propagating or making a new pineapple, but that will be in a different lesson. And this is the class pineapple. Well, the class pineapple was the one that's producing the actual pineapple. This is a 3-year-old plant, all right? The pineapples are classified as an aggregate or multiple fruit, okay? They form a cluster of flowers along an axis, which is called an inflorescence. Now, this is a pen. This would be the axis, and the flowers are forming on the sides, and that's how this is working. All right, typically a pineapple has 100 to 200 flowers per fruit. All right, the first stage, which is called the red bud stage, is now over. However, 2 of my students have been taking pictures daily for the past month, and they have a record of this. And I would appreciate if CC and Roland, if you could send me those, and I will post them on Google Classroom. All right, this is now the second stage, which is called the high cone stage. And this is going to be followed by the flowering stages 1, 2, and 3. Now, this is getting ready to flower, and we will show you that as the class and time progresses. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually transplant this into a larger pot, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transplant our class pineapple into a little bit bigger pot. What I'm concerned about is that because this is getting bigger, it may become pot bound. Now, what pot bound means is that there's roots that are encircling this that actually keeps the plant from getting bigger. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to transplant this into a larger pot. First of all, you want to make sure whatever you're transplanting it in has holes in the bottom, because if you don't, the water can't escape, and too much water will kill your plant. I guarantee it. So we're going to take our potting soil from yesterday or a previous lesson, which we talked about. I'm going to put this in the bottom of this pot. Now, if you had a really big plant, you could put a few stones in to keep it, if you're worried about turning over, but this is fine. So I'm going to put a little bit of potting soil. Now, I'm not packing it in, I'm just firming it in. And so what I want to do is make sure when you transplant, you want to make sure you do not plant this plant deeper than it is in this pot. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that with any plant, trees, shrubs, whatever. You never want to plant it deeper than this. So I put some potting soil in, I firmed it in. What I'm going to do now, all right, and I got to be very careful of this. I'm going to turn this plant on its side, and I'm going to slide this out. Now, as you can see, all right, you can see these roots, these side roots. I'm going to cut these a little bit. This is not hurting the plant at all. In fact, it's going to help the roots grow quicker and bigger to make the plant. So I'm going to take that, being very careful, a little bit on this side, just scoring these. This is called scoring, all right? And I'm going to take the plant and we're going to put it right in here. Now, you can see I'm not putting it any deeper than it was in this pot, but now we have so much more room. I'm now going to take potting soil and place it down on the sides around the plant, firming it in. Again, I'm not pushing it in and compacting it so difficult that the new roots won't penetrate or be able to get into this soil. This takes a little bit. Now, the pineapple is sharp. You got to watch it poking your eyes, which, believe me, I've done more than once.
You can see the serrated.
Yeah, they have serrated edges. And here's the thing about the pineapple. This is for protection. And keep it. Now, you can go this way with your hands and don't hurt, but you go that way, it hurts. But this is for protection. And the nice thing about the pineapple, since it is a tropical plant, its leaves are designed when you go to water. I water it always in the middle because it funnels all the water to the middle of the plant. And this is you know, nature's way of having this plant optimize all the water that it needs. Because this is, now typically the pineapple likes between 65 and maybe 90, 95. It gets too hot, it doesn't grow well. Most plants actually start to desiccate over 95 degrees, which means they start to die. Real hot is not good. Now you can see I'm going all the way around, and I'm just packing this soil in firmly, trying to make sure. Of course, I want to keep it centered, and then we want this thing that they call cattywampus, like going left to right. But anyway, so I'm pushing the soil in, and again, do not transplant anything deeper than it was in its original pot or whatever it was in, because that will eventually kill that plant, or could kill that plant very easily. So, have it transplanted. Looks pretty good. Does it look all right?
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay.
Looks good.
Have it. And another thing, and what I usually do is I will write.
Down when it was transplanted?
Yeah, I'll write on my label when it was transplanted. Today is what, March 19th, 2020. Yeah, we'll remember all these days. Anyway, so just as, and then I will water it. Okay, so bring it over here, and I will show you how to.
Don't poke your eye.
I know, I just want to make sure it's nice and centered. And what I'm going to do, again, gently, I'm not going to too much, just give it a little bit of water in the middle and let it trickle down. If you can see how it's trickling down, and that's what you want. You want it to water itself gently. You don't want a heavy amount of water coming in there and blowing out the potting soil. So I'm watering it gently. It's not hurting the plant or hurting the flower. And I will continue to do that. Let it settle in.
It's cute.
And this will continue to grow. Okay, now that we have the pineapple transplanted, it's a little top heavy because it does have a pineapple in it. So what I'm going to do is take these sticks. I did have them in the other one. I don't know if you noticed or not. But this will just help stabilize it a little bit. And especially since it's just been transplanted. So I'll put these sticks in. I have a couple more if I need to. But for today, it does a pretty good job. So that's it for today. All right, pineapple Casella out.